guys, Matt from Total MTG here, and today, after a lot of requests from some of my great subs, they've been asking, how I go about brewing my decks, what is my actual process, stuff like that. A lot of people ask, how do you do it? Some of my, I do a lot of home brews, as you can tell from the channel. This is sort of my process, so hopefully it'll go alright. It's a little bit of fun, it's casual, it's just sort of something that I thought I'd do and just show you my process, whether it be wrong or right. This is how I go about it anyway. So, step one. Now my writing is going to be terrible here, and some of the spelling might be wrong, but hey, never mind. It's just prepare. Step one is prepare. As you can see around me, I've got folders. These are my standard folders with all my standard cards in. Not all of them, to be honest, because I've got a lot in decks over there, and there's a lot of loose that you can't see. It's a bit of a mess. So that's the first thing I do. I get my folders out, to search through cards and stuff like that. I use an app on my iPad called Deck Builder. As you can see when I leave links to a lot of my decks below in the videos, it's using this app. This is just like a search engine, lets you build decks, has all the sets, put in keywords, search for stuff when you're building around, certain mechanics or certain types of cards. But yeah, this is initially the first thing I do. So you have to prepare yourself, get all your stuff in front of you that you want to do. You're not always going to have all the cards that obviously you want in your deck there, but this is what you do. This is the first process I do. So if we go to the next deck building, a lot of my decks, what I do is I find a card, like the step two is like build around a card. I find a card that I find fun, interesting, that I've liked from a new set or that I haven't had a chance to use it. Like I say, it might not always be the best card, but I think it's fun and I want to build around it. What I will say with your brews, this is what I say. Don't always, you can go online and use the resources and look at some of the top decks. I do this as well. You change it around to what you want to do. You're still brewing, but you're using like a baseline of that. This is like, if you want to build a deck from scratch, the first place I normally start is I pick a card and I build around that card. Normally it's a card in my collection, but if it's a fun one I haven't got, then obviously I pick it up. A lot of the times these cards are very cheap because the cards people aren't using, but I like trying to see what I can do with it and see if I can get a few wins out of it and turn it into a decent deck. So, next thing I'd say is pick a nice card in your collection and then go for the process of building around it. When building the decks, what I say is like utilise the sources around you. Use the internet, stuff like that. I've already said, into dead. Like I said, sometimes, this is very casual. I'm doing it offhand. Internet, that's funny. Internet, use the internet. You can source cards, go on wizards, stuff like that. Sometimes you got a card you want to build around. You just put the card in it. It might come up with loads of different decks. Give you ideas to, to spawn your own ideas and stuff like that. Talk to your friends, your magic friends. You talk about a card, you see what their ideas are, you sort of do a collation, stuff like that. Just do that. Utilise your sources of what you got, it makes you a better deck builder. Watch, videos on really good deck builders, like, I like watching Travis Wu, people like that. They build different decks that you just don't normally see, not the standard decks. And, I find that stuff really helpful and really interesting. So, next sort of thing you do is once you've got an idea, is it step 3 or 4? We'll go back to 4. I think it's step 4. I'll go back on the video and see that it was actually step 5, but it probably wasn't. Source cards. So, if you haven't got cards in your collection, source the cards you need. Obviously, go for cheapest option. You can trade, you can do this. But originally, what I would definitely say is, proxy your deck. Proxy your deck first when, with certain cards that you haven't got, because you need to see if they work. If they don't work, you've just spent the money on the cards. There's no point doing it, and you just wasted money that you might buy something that you do need. So, if you haven't got the cards in your selection, when you're testing your decks out, as long as, you're playing casual, you're playing with friends, they won't mind you proxying a few cards. So some of the cards might be a little bit more expensive. If it's a $20 card, you've bought it just on the premise that it will work in your deck, and you really realise it hasn't. You might have just spent $80 on a playset or 80 quid. You know what I mean? So, you know, proxy it up first and then give it a try, see what works. See, you know, try different cards in and out and stuff like that. So, what we shall do now, I shall pick a card, any card, it's like a magic show, that I want to build around, and then we'll go from there, and I will, you know, build a deck around on camera. I did have an idea of a card that I wanted to use, I've been wanting to use for quite some time. I didn't want to go into this fully not prepared, as it might seem. But the card I want to build around, that I've been wanting to build around for quite a while, which just seems fun, is Splendid Reclamation. It seems like a very, very fun deck. It returns all lands from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So it's, like I say, it's a fun card. As far as my knowledge, it doesn't see any standard play whatsoever. But it's a card that I thought, hey, this looks fun. I can build sort of a fun sort of deck around it. It's got some interactions with lands and stuff like that. But this is the card I'm going to build around. So join me back in 2 secs and we'll start building. So guys, time to start building my deck. So my deck that obviously, like I said, I'm building around Splendid Reclamation. So this returns all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So you need to find stuff that interacts with it, you know, off the top of my head. Creatures like, you know, Gitrog seem pretty good. I'm not choosing my colours just yet because I want to look at, you know, what cards I find, then basically just go from there. So I don't automatically just think, right, I'm going Abzan, right, I'm automatically going this, Jeskai, whatever. You know, or, what, you know, obviously Jeskai doesn't fit the green, but you know, you understand what I'm saying. So I want to find stuff with that. This is obviously like a bit of a graveyard theme. Could run, you know, maybe heavy creatures, you know, like there is like a black-green Delirium decks that runs graveyard stuff. But we'll have to wait and see. But I do have my playset of these, so I don't need to source any Splendid Reclamations. I might run 4, I might run 3. Who knows what I'm going to run at the moment. So what I'd sort of do is, if this comes up on screen, which I hope it does. It seems okay when I'm looking through the lens anyway. So I've 6 standard. So what I'm looking at is, possibly I'll start looking at the creatures first. So I go to type, put in creature, not search, hold on, go back there. So I'm looking maybe, you know, land, could be a landfall daughter deck. So if I just put in land, as you can see, I come up with like 52 cards that in standard have land. So you can look at stuff like JD Offshoot, when a land enters the battlefield under control, gain lots of life. So that might be a, you know, a nice sort of creature put in. Scythe Leopards. You know, this is going, maybe I'd want to go down the landfall sort of route. When this enters the battlefield, you can search for a basic land card. Lots of different things. Sylvan Advocate, that works well with lands. You know, if you get multiple lands on the field, it becomes like a big 4/5. What else? We got Undergrowth Champion. If we went down, but as landfall, put a counter on. You know, like I said, so you can maybe, you know, thinking maybe could go a landfall sort of theme. Different sort of cards here. So you can see this app is really good as well. This is what I was talking about. The first thing that sprung to mind was like Gitrog. Beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Gitrog unless you sacrifice a land. So we could put lands into the graveyard, get them all back with Splendid. Whenever one or more lands are put into the graveyard, you get to draw cards. So, yeah, so maybe Gitrog is, you know, maybe that's a good way to go. Black, green there, quite strong colours. Worldbreakers, sacrifice a land, return Worldbreaker to your hand. So Worldbreaker works very well with lands as well. So you can see what I sort of start off by doing. I look at, you know, keywords. Keywords is definitely something that you, when you're building a deck, you know, write down a list of keywords that could be around that certain card that you're building. So we'll also look at graveyard, and this will probably come up with quite a lot. Well, it's 109 cards with graveyard. So you've got Gnarlwood Dryad. Maybe go down a Delirium sort of route. That's not too bad. Grimflayer, very strong card, but very expensive card, as you can see up the top there. The foil is like €44. That's crazy. When it deals combat damage to a player, look at the top 3 cards. Put any number in the graveyard, rest on the back of your library. So yeah, you can put the lands in, get them all back with Splendid, that sort of thing. What else do we have? Just going through the cards here. Yeah, some interesting stuff there. Yeah. So we go back. What we can do now is just, not do creatures. Maybe go on to enchantments. So we could try the same sort of thing again, which is we look at maybe anything that says land. So what do we start off with? Crop Sigil. Not too bad, Crop Sigil. Beginning of your upkeep, you may put the top card of your library into there. Yep. Vessel of Nascency. Sacrifice it. You may put an artifact, creature, enchantment, or land, or planeswalker card. So that'd be something like I'm interested in. So Vessel, it's a 1-drop. You pay 2 to sacrifice it. Reveal. You can put, any one of these in your hands and the rest into your graveyard. So what I do, I just plus it over there. That's a card that sort of shows my interest. So I'll put it over there. Crawling Sensation as well. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put the top 2 cards. Yeah, whenever one or more land cards go in there, you put a 1/1 inset. So that's pretty interesting as well. So I'll add that one over there. That seems like a very fun one. Imprison the Moon. Retreat to column. It's like the Landfield. Tap untarget creature. Maybe you want to go like a controlling sort of route. Retreat to Hagra. Landfill. When a land enters the battlefield under control, choose 1. So target creature gets +1/+0 and gains Death Touch, which is pretty nice. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So this seems pretty sweet actually. When you sort of a land comes in, opponent can lose life and you gain 1 life. Obviously with Splendid Reclamation, that's that could work pretty well. It's sort of return all land cards that are from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Yeah, it does seem like a bit of a combo. Oh, drop the card. Does seem like a bit of a combo there. I've seen something like that before, that sort of deck, but that does seem quite fun. And like I say, seems fun. If it seems fun, that maybe that's the way you want to do it. So yeah, Retreat to Hagra, I'm definitely going to put over there. I think you could definitely build something around Splendid Reclamation and Retreat to Hagra. It does seem quite viable as an option. Landfall. Maybe we could go the whole landfall sort of route. But this seems like it seems like what you look for in decks is when you're building, you look for your win cons, and this seems like it does seem like a win con. If you can put enough lands into the graveyard, it seems like a very, very good thing to do. So what I need to do now is basically look for cards that will put stuff, maybe into graveyards. So the colour, you probably want to do instants, sorceries. So I go to there, do instant or sorcery. So the ideal colour for that would probably blue. So if I say blue only, we'll look at instants and sorceries in blue, see what we come up with. So I made 72 cards, but obviously the cards I'm sort of thinking of are cards like, maybe Anticipate doesn't put them in the graveyard, so that's no good for us. Contingency Plan, you get to look at the top 5 cards of your library, put any number of them into your graveyard and the rest back on the top of your library. So that helps us go through our deck. Yep, that seems fun to me, definitely want to do that. Nagging Thoughts, possibly get 1 in the graveyard, only costs 2. Definitely one to think about is Nagging Thoughts. What else do we have? That's the one I was trying to think of. Pieces of the Puzzle. You reveal the top 5 cards of your library, put up to 2 instants and sorceries into your hand, the rest into your graveyard. So this could help us dig for our Splendid. That's what I'm thinking. Definitely help us dig for Splendid. Seems pretty cool. Maybe we're going to go green, blue. Yeah, green blue kind of spells thing. We could go all in with maybe the Retreat to Hagra sort of deck. Maybe we could do that. Counter spells. What else have we got? Gulf of Shores is a nice card. Glimmer of Genius is a nice card draw. I do like Glimmer of Genius, and it has obviously Scry 2 as well. So maybe that's a card to think about. But yeah, that seems pretty good. Extra turns, maybe the Water Veils. Maybe we do something like that. So let's have a look at another colour. We're in green, so let's have a look at what green has to offer. Attune with the Ether. Yeah, not too bad. I do like that card. Traverse. If we get, we've got a good chance of getting Delirium. Maybe we could put a big creature in there. Wildest Dreams. Now, Wildest Dreams is a card that I do like as well, and I nearly chose it for this deck. Return X target cards from your graveyard to your hand. Exile Wildest Dreams. I mean, it could be quite good in maybe, we get, people kill our Hagras and stuff like that. It could be a good way of recurring. And we can get multiple cards. Maybe we need a Hagra and a Splendid. I'm going to put that in there as a wild card at the moment. So wild card, Wildest Dreams, banter there. Making a joke and not even known. Eldritch Evolution, I do love that card. Pulse and Marassa. Return target creature or land card from your graveyard to its hand, you gain 6 life. So I'll put that definitely in the sideboard. What else do we need? We need more stuff to get into the graveyard. What's the card that people use in the Delirium? That's it, Grapple. Is it Grapple with the Past? Put the top 3 cards you love into your graveyard, then you may return a creature or land card. So that's definitely something else that we sort of need. Yeah, you can see what I mean. I'm sort of slowly building the deck. I like the way... I want another way. Wildest Dreams of recurring cards. There's an artifact, I think, from the new Kaladesh set that does it. So what I'll do, I'll reset. Go and look at Kaladesh. Sorry guys, my battery went there on the camera. So what I was doing, I was searching for that artifact that can basically help you recur stuff from the graveyard from Kaladesh. So I'll search Kaladesh, search artifact. No, it's not that. Ew, no, where are you? Sure, there it is. Perpetual Timepiece. It helps put stuff in your graveyard as well, so we might be able to put something good in the graveyard. Obviously, we've got a bit of recursion with grapples and stuff like that. Put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. You can tap to do that. And for 2, exile Perpetual Timepiece. Shuffle any number of target cards from your graveyard into your library. Because we could end up going through a lot of our deck, I'm thinking, going through this graveyard, we don't want to be milling ourselves. So this is another way of basically, putting stuff back in, and we can put any number of target cards. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe Perpetual would be good. I mean, the way I'm looking at the deck at the moment, I haven't put any creatures in. I'm thinking at the moment, was it blue, black, green? If we're going to have no creatures, we're going to need, maybe a little... Maybe, dare I say, like a board wipe, maybe a fumigate. It gains your life, and so maybe we do need something, like fumigate. Splashing 4 colours. Like I said, it's a crazy brew. This is how I brew my decks. Sometimes I like to do things where I go, right, I'm not going to play any creatures. Sometimes I'm going to play a lot. But this is a sort of thing that I do. So, fumigate. Let's have a look at fumigate looks... We could splash white, and of course what we could do then, as we're not playing any creatures, we could play all the creature lands. So we could play Shambling Vents, what else you got? Lumbering Falls, Hissing Quagmires in the colours as well. So maybe they could be our creatures, maybe, we can activate them. We're hopefully going to have a lot of lands. So that is, that is the sort of, that's the sort of thing I'm thinking. So what I'm going to do now is, obviously I've got like my plan of cards that I want to do. Now, before I put numbers and sort out lands and stuff like that, what I do is I look at the cards, go through my collection, see what I've got, source the cards that I've got, see if it makes some sort of deck, because all the first decks are always, rough outlines. They're not always, they're not the perfect deck to start with. You trial and error. That's what it is all about, deck building. So let's get into one of my folders. I need to keep my iPad near me just so I can see what the cards are, just so I can source some of the cards. So I'm in this, so I need to look for contingency plans, grapple with the past, stuff like that. So let's get to the blue. We are in blue, my favourite colour, blue. So do we have contingency plans in here? Yep, there's contingency plans. So I'm thinking I need 4 of them, definitely. 4. So I'll get 4 out to start with. And then what else do I need? Anything else on this set? Grapple with the Past. Now they might be in decks, so I've used that before, Grapple with the Past. But I've got some here. I've definitely got more than probably what's in here in my collection. So I've got some Grapple with the Past, but I'm definitely going to go, I'm thinking 4 of them. So if they're not in my decks, what I'm saying, like with source cards, I'd write down now I need 2 extra cards. So I need a couple of grappler pass. You know, probably a mate of yours will just be able to give them to you. They're worth about a penny, probably. Grapple with a pass. Anything else that I'm thinking from this? Possibly not yet from this one. Crawling sensation. No, that's probably about it for that. So let's get on to our next book. The next big book. I don't think I can go out a bit more on this so you can see my book. No, camera only focuses in. So let's have a look what else I need. So this is, as you can see, this is, what is it, Battle for Zendikar colours, anything from there that I saw. The most important card. Retreat to Hagra. Do I have Retreat to Hagras in my collection? Hopefully I do. And there we are, there is a Retreat to Hagra. Now this says I've only got one. Hopefully I've got more in my collection than one. If not, it's going to be a very cheap card to source. Retreat to Hagra. We're going to need a full play set of them, so we're going to go for 4 of them, obviously. Next book, what have we got? The next book is Kaladesh. So you can see the amount of Kaladesh that I've got. It's hideous. So Kaladesh, Wildest Dreams is what we need. So go to the back where all my rares are. Turn it straight on the page as if by luck. Look at that. Wildest Dreams. Now, I'm probably thinking 2, maybe 3 of these. So I've got 2. Source that card. Going to be about 50p. It's not going to be very much. Perpetual Timepiece. That's the card that I like. I want to put some of them in. I like that Perpetual Timepiece. Different card, like I say, using cards that are, I wouldn't generally use. So Perpetual Timepiece, I'm probably thinking I need a couple of them, but I've got a couple more in my set if I need them. Anything else from Kaladesh? I thought about Glimmer. Glimmer maybe for the sideboard, I'm thinking, because I'm going to have contingency plans, pieces of the puzzles. I'm going to be able to go through my deck quite a bit, I think. So at the moment, let's just have a look at what we've got at the moment. I've got Splendid, obviously the card we're building around, and we're going to do it in conjunction with this Retreat to Hagra. Obviously, we want to get all the lands into the graveyard, and then flash them all back with one Splendid Reclamation, hopefully. If we've got 2 Retreat to Hagras on the battlefield, we're going to be 2 damage a turn with every land. So, it looks quite a dirty little deck, to be honest, at the moment. But, aggro we might be in trouble with, which is why I'm going to add in, Fumigate is slow, it's turn 5. But, I want some kind of board wipe. A little bit of white, and obviously splashing the white as well means I can play Shambling Vents, which obviously have life gain and everything like that. So, let's get to the next one. What have we got in here? This is Oath for the Gatewatch. Anything from Oath? What do we need from Oath? Oath. No cards from Oath. Jeez. Maybe Pulse and Marassa, I'm thinking in the sideboard for that. I do like the 6. I like the life gain. Return something. Do like that. But I don't think we're going to run any creatures in this deck. So let's get to our next one, which is Shadows. Now Shadows is where we need some cards. Shadows has a lot of good cards for our deck. So let's get to the blue. I hope you like this type of video, guys. It's very, very casual. I just hope you enjoy it. Seeing my process. I've thought about nagging thoughts, but I'm actually thinking, no, don't need it. If I've got pieces of the puzzle, and the other ones seem pretty good. So where have I got pieces of the puzzle? Surely, pieces of the puzzle. Here we go. I've got a lot of pieces of the puzzles. No, there's gone missing behind it. I don't know what that's doing there. There's 3 pieces of the puzzle there, but I'm one a play set, so I need to source another one of them from either my bulk cards that are in a big box, or just hopefully find them off a mate. that's basically what I'm going to do. What else am I thinking? Yeah, Fumigate. That was it. So Fumigate is from From Kaladesh. I'm pretty sure my Fumigates are in my other decks. But I am thinking that I want a couple of Fumies. Couple of Fumies in the main. Splash that white. Let's go to my rares. But I'm pretty sure I've got them in random decks. Fumigate. Is there a spare one in here just for purpose? I know I've definitely got 3 in my collection. But they are not... Are they not in my book? Is there one there? No. They're not in my book. But it doesn't matter. I know I've definitely got 3 in my collection. So that is what we're going to do. So, at the moment, we're going to have pieces from the puzzles. We're going to have 4 of them, I think, in the main. We're going to have 4 contingency plans. So these cards are going to be the ones that help us find what we need. Recursion, I'm thinking maybe 3 Wildest Dreams and 2 Perpetual Timepieces. That's my plan at the moment. Obviously 4 Splendid. We're going to go for 4 Grapples of the Past. Probably 3. 4 Retreat to Hagras. So I need to source maybe a few cards and then we'll go to the lands. So this is the process I do. I put out all the cards, and what I do now is as well, I would go through all my deck boxes, because I have multiple decks going at a single time, obviously for the channel, and I get bored very easy and I like to play lots of different things. So if we go back to my iPad now, here we go. So let's start putting some numbers in. So I'm going to go 4 vessels. Wildest Dream, I think I want 3 in there. If I press this at the top, this is what's good about this. I'll do type details, so it splits up basically everything like what's in the deck. I'm going to go for a couple of Perpetual Timepiece. Contingency plan, I want 4. Nagging Thoughts, not bit the dust. Pieces of the Puzzle, I want 4. Ooh, actually 4. 4 and 4, maybe too much. I'm going to possibly go for 3 for that moment, because I obviously want to make room for the couple of Fumigates. And we'll go 3 or 4 Grapples. We'll go 3 at the moment. Glimmer of Genius, possibly sideboard I'm going to put in. It is very good enough for main, but Crawling Sensation, beginning of your upkeep you may look at the cards. It's not a bad card. Maybe that can go sideboard as well. You know, I'm not going to make the sideboard, but that's what I'm thinking. Retreat we're going to have 4 of, definitely. So at the moment we have 25 cards. So, what have I missing to put in at the moment? Obviously, the Splendid Reclamations. Completely forgot about the main card that I'm building around. They're splendid. So, we have obviously a full play set of them. What else do I need? Wildest Dreams is not too bad. But obviously, we want a lot of lands. So, at the moment, this is 29 cards. 31 lands. I mean, maybe we do need a hell of a lot of land. We've got ways to go through. So what I'm thinking, we could maybe add in a Gitrog, maybe something like that, maybe a couple of creatures. But the idea of this is to get a lot of lands. We'll go through our decks with these. So maybe we want an extra pieces of the puzzle, so maybe 4. Now this would be a fun deck. We could call it the 30 and 30 deck. 30 spells and 30 lands, because we need a lot of interaction with this to kill someone. You know, we can't have the 20 odd land, so we need a hell of a lot more. So I'm going for that 30. Yeah, actually I quite like this deck. I'm going to give it a try. So what we're going to do, we're going to call it the 30-30 Splendid Hagra. This is what it is, the 30-30 Splendid Hagra. So then we need lands. With this app, what I can do is it will add basic lands. So if I add 30 lands, it will tell me basically the colours that I need. So basically 4 plains, 4 storm, 8 island, 14 forests. So I can apply that. But I want the creature lands, so you know, we go to standard. Shambling. So we want shambling vents, definitely. So we can put in maybe 3 of them. Maybe we go 3, 3 and 3 of all the other lands. Hissing Quags. We could go 4s if we wanted. 3 of them. What's the other one? The hexproof one is Lumbering Falls. That's the one. Not Limbering Falls? How about Lumbering Falls? Lumbering Falls. 1, 2, 3. Evolving Wilds. That seems pretty good with the Hagras. So we'll get some Evolving Wilds. Maybe a full play set of them to get double triggers. So that's how many lands? That's 13 lands. And then we could obviously have the Marshes, Sanctums, get some early plays. Let's have a look at what we've got. So we've got Marsh, Blooming Marsh. Let's get some of them. Botanical Sanctums. Put some in. So you can see how I sort of do my decks, guys. It's, I get an idea, I run with it, I add it in. and then I test it. Sometimes the deck will be absolutely terrible, first of all. You know, sometimes I need to change a lot, but, you know, I'm quite liking this. I'm worried about having no creatures, but I like the idea of the deck. You know, we can always bring creatures in from a sideboard. We've got creature lands. Yeah, potentially we've got 9, you know, obviously not turn 1 creatures, but we've got creatures that we can turn, you know, lands turn into creatures. Trying to think what other lands there are. We could go for the courtyards, I suppose, but we're only splashing white for the fumigate and obviously the shambling vents. So if I go now to add basic, I'd add 9 lands. So the 9 lands would be 5, 2, 1 and 1. So we apply that. So there's our 30 lands. Now the lands are obviously, you have to chop and change, see what you need, see what you don't need. This is what it is. But guys, this has been my first deck that I've built live for you on camera. Obviously I had the idea of Splendid Reclamation, and this is the idea of what we're going to go for. No idea for sideboard yet. I might actually try and put this together and then maybe try a few matches with it, see how it goes. I imagine it's quite easy at the moment to sideboard against. We could add stuff like negates in the sideboard to protect us, you know, in game 2s and stuff like that. But, you know, the ideal is obviously to get the Hagras out. We want to get the Hagras and get, obviously, the Splendid Reclamation and do that. We're using different cards that I haven't used before. This is what I like about deck building, using cards like Wildest Dreams, Perpetual Timepiece, cards that I'm just not going to use in, you know, competitive standard decks. But I'm hoping this, you know, it's going to be a very, very fun deck, and hoping that I may be able to put it on camera for you so we can see, you know, see just how good or just how bad it really is. But anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed my process of how I build decks. Thanks a lot for watching. Please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. And, you know, maybe, you know, if you get some good feedback and everything like that, maybe I'll do some more like this. I could do maybe a Commander one, Modern, whatever, you know, stuff like that. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Cheers, guys.